Hi, my name's Imogen, I'm 19 years old and I'm currently on a gap year. One of the things that I did really early on my gap year was to be an au pair in Germany. However, I didn't do this through the conventional au pair route, which is to go through an agency. No, instead I used something called Workaway. Workaway is basically a scheme which allows you to travel the world for free. I know, you might be sat there thinking, hold up Imogen, that sounds way too good to be true. But I'm here today to talk to you all about how the Workaway scheme works and how you can benefit from it too. Let's start with what Workaway is. Through Workaway, you work for a set amount of time for free each day, and in exchange, your host gives you free accommodation and food. There are loads of different types of Workaways that you can get involved in. One of the most popular is called WWOOF, and that stands for loads of different things depending on who you ask, but basically it's all about working on an organic farm. Now that type of Workaway actually has its own separate website, but you can also find listings for that on the Workaway website itself. And I'm going to talk more about how the Workaway website works. That was a bit of a tongue twister. How the Workaway website works in a minute. The other types of Workaway that you can get involved in are working for an NGO, doing renovation projects, working as a language assistant, working as an au pair. Basically, you name it, there will be a listing on the Workaway website to help out with something similar. So I was having a cheeky browse of the Workaway website this afternoon, which is one of my favourite things to do, let me tell you. And I was looking at some of the coolest things that you can get involved in. Now, one of the things that I saw was staying with a Jordanian family in the Jordanian desert, which just sounds insane, does it not? You could also help at a summer sea camp in the remote island of Montserrat. There's just so many different opportunities. You could help in the rainforest in French Guiana, or if you're fancying something a little bit closer to home, you could stay with some Italian nuns and help with the renovation and the upkeep of their monastery. How cool does that sound? So now I've talked about these insane things that you can get involved with, it's time to explain how to actually access these opportunities. All of these opportunities that I have found have been accessed through the Workaway website. The Workaway website can be found at www.workaway.info, not .com, .info, and that's really important. Basically, the website works by hosts who are interested in having workaways to stay, posting up a little listing about who they're looking for, what sort of help they're needing, and I'll tell you more about what's actually in their listing in just a minute. And then workaways can search through these listings and find something they're interested in, and if you have a membership, and I'm going to talk about that again in a minute, then you can message the host to try and organise your stay. The only thing that you can't do without a membership is message the host. So that means you can look through, you can find some listings that you're really interested in before you even sign up for your membership and commit to that. Now, membership is €39. I could only find it in euros. I think there must be a British pounds price, but I don't really know where to find that. So anyway, it's €39 for a single person, or if you're doing it as a couple, then you can get a couple's account for €49. Typically, if you're working with an NGO or an organisation, or if you want to go and be an au pair, then you'll have to go through an agency, and agencies have huge agency or organisational costs. So by doing it through Workaway, it's often a lot cheaper, and you have a little bit more control of who you're going to work for. However, the really important thing to note is that if you are going to work with an NGO or an organisation, then you want to make sure that you're doing it for the benefit of the community and you're staying an adequate amount of time so that it is sustainable tourism. Otherwise, it's really easy to fall into the trap of voluntourism, where you're going on this trip for your own benefit, not necessarily for the benefit of the community. And that's just not what Workaway is about. Anyway, more about the website itself. So on each listing, each host will have their availability, so when they can have workaways to stay, how many workaways they're looking for, the sort of help that they want, what sort of benefits and things that they can give you, which is really good, whether they have good internet or whether they allow smoking in their home, and also some pictures and reviews that other workaways have left for them. The reviews are really important to see if the people who have stayed before are quite similar to you, and just to establish whether you think you could fit in well in that environment and whether you would get on well with the family or the host that you would be staying with. So once you have then signed up for your membership, you create your own profile. So this includes a picture of you, you write a little bit about yourself, who you are, what stage of life you're at, what you're looking for, blah, blah, blah. Then you write about the sort of help that you would be willing to give. There's a little bit about practical information. So do you drive? Are you vegetarian? Any other dietary requirements? And you can also write about your travel dates and which country you're aiming to travel to. And this is mainly for when you contact a host, then they can have a little bit of a look at your profile and decide whether you are the right sort of workaway to come to their opportunity. The Workaway website is fantastic. It's really well put together and it's really easy to use. I honestly can't fault it. Workaway also has an app which works just as well and in a very similar way to the website. So if that's more your thing, then definitely do download the app. Also, another really cool feature of the Workaway website is that you can contact other Workawayers who are doing their placements nearby and arrange to meet up with them. And that just really reinforces the idea of Workaway, that it is a community and it's all about people who love traveling, who are really keen to have other people into their homes, or who are really keen to go and travel and share their experiences with other people. So a couple of logistical things about how I actually found using the Workaway website. I sorted my placement, I'd say probably about a month before I was due to go to my placement, so you don't need to have loads and loads of time before you go, but often that does help to ensure that you can secure the Workaway placement that you want to go to. So when I was looking for my Workaway placement, I did reach out to a few different placements. Some of them replied really quickly, like the family that I then ended up doing my placement with. Some of them took a little bit longer to reply, and some of them just didn't reply at all. Something which I think is really, really useful on the Workaway website is that on the host listing, you can also see when they were online last. So like if it was a couple of days before, then it's good, like they're probably going to give you a reply. However, if it was 4 years ago, then that person probably isn't still looking for a Workawayer, or they're just not really interested. It also gives you the reply response time, like the average one, so how long it normally takes them to get back to you, and it gives you the percentage of how many of their kind of inquiries they've actually responded to. So that gives you a good indication of whether a Workaway host is likely to get back to you and how long it's likely to take. So the family that I then ended up doing Workaway with were really keen. They replied really quickly, which was really helpful. And they were keen to set up a Skype call with me. Now, this isn't true of every different Workaway placement. For some of them that have loads and loads of people coming to them, this just isn't feasible. But if you're au pairing or something, I would really recommend asking the family, if they don't already, if you can have a Skype call with them, just so you get to know them a little bit more. In that Skype call, we just talked about what I would be expected of me, why I was keen to come, how good my German was, so we could sort out some practical arrangements about my language class. And then something that was also really helpful was that the family were really keen to have the current Workawayer speak to me so that I could get an honest kind of first-hand experience. And obviously it was glowing, because the family that I have been to Workaway with last year were honestly just so lovely and really, really accommodating. So in the time between when I secured my placement and the family said, yep, we'd love to have you, and when I actually went out there, we exchanged a few more messages about flight times, nearby airports, and other practical arrangements. When I arrived, one of the fantastic things that happened was the previous Workaway was still there and she wasn't leaving for another couple of days. But this was perfect because it gave me a chance to basically shadow her, see the dog walking route, see the route to kindergarten, how to get on the bus and the train system, because obviously that's still quite foreign for me, before I then did it all on my own. And I felt a lot more confident having that kind of, I guess, training period. I mean, it wasn't anything serious, and it was also just really lovely to see somebody else who had done it in the house and have that kind of friendly face that was my age. The really good thing about Workaway, particularly at the moment, is that Workaway placements tend to be a couple of weeks or a few months, but they don't tend to be kind of in days. You don't tend to move between them as quickly as you would if you were traveling. And that means that during the current coronavirus situation, Workaway is a really, really feasible option of how we can get travel kind of back up off the ground, and you can still have a fantastic experience in another country without having to travel between lots of different countries, which is kind of the typical gap year kind of thing to do. So it's just a different style of travelling. I much preferred it to normal travelling, but you might find normal travelling is better. But I would definitely say giving Workaway a go if you're having a gap year at some point on your gap year is definitely worth it. With the family that I was with, everything was super flexible. They were so accommodating and friendly. So I would often go and meet up with my friend in the morning and make sure that I was back to pick up the child in the afternoon. And I kind of had a schedule of when I was free and when I needed to walk the dog or unload the dishwasher or anything like that. Additionally, on my day off, which was on a Monday, I went and helped at a local school, and the mum actually helped to set this up for me, and I found that was really useful for improving my German. And also I really do enjoy kind of teaching and sharing our culture and our language, and so I found that was really, really enjoyable. Obviously, the levels of flexibility are going to vary between hosts, that's just natural, but the really important thing to remember is that these hosts are already opening up their homes to people from all over the world, and so they're likely to be accommodating and flexible people anyway. So that is all for this video. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. I do think at the moment Workaway is a really good opportunity to still be able to travel but not be putting yourself at risk or others at risk by traveling through lots of different countries. So definitely do bear it in mind if you are planning to travel in the near future, particularly whilst coronavirus is still around. In the near future, I'm hoping to put up a video all about my personal Workaway experience and what my days looked like whilst I was doing Workaway. So definitely do hit that subscribe button down below if that's something you'd be interested in, and give this video a big thumbs up. That's all for now. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you next time with a new video.